What, in your view, is the top national security risk facing the United States today?
Well, thanks, Ryan. And let me also just thank No Labels for hosting this event this afternoon. As Andy pointed out, we are at a critical time in our history in the United States, and I'm always happy and have been proud to be associated with No Labels. So thanks for hosting this. When I was the chancellor of the University of Texas system, and I would talk to alumni and donors and large groups, invariably, based on my background, somebody would pose this question, Ryan. They would say, what do you think is the number one national security threat out there? And they always thought I was going to say something like Iran or North Korea or maybe even Russia. And my answer was always the same: K through 12 education. And then they would say, no. I mean, what's the number one national security threat? And I would say K through 12 education. And my point was that if we weren't raising young men and women to think critically, to have the STEM skills, to understand other ideas around the world, if we weren't teaching them and educating them in a way that was going to make them great national security leaders 20 years from now, then we were undermining, the world in terms of our national security hopes. So it really is this idea that we've got to find a way to improve our educational system, particularly K through 12. Now, the fact of the matter is we have the best university system in the world, bar none. 8 of the top 10 universities are here in the United States. But our K through 12, always on the PISA reporting, really is a lot lower than where we need to be in terms of math and science and reading and the things that are truly critical. So my hope is that, wherever you might be in this community, take the opportunity to get engaged, to make sure that the people in your community are getting the education they need, because we won't have the great national security leaders we need in 20 years if we're not educating them today. But
Admiral, can I ask you, just from the perspective of military readiness, is there also something, if we think about who's going to be in the services 5, 10, 15 years from now, do you feel like the educational requirements are changing significantly for what it takes?
Yeah, I don't think the educational requirements are changing. The physical standards have had to change because, frankly, there's been this sense that a lot of our young men and women that are eligible to join the military are obese. They've got drug problems, a lot of things that society has not set them up well to be entering the military. But educationally, I think those standards are still the same. And I will tell you, the young men and women that I've had an opportunity to spend time with over the last several years in the military, I mean, they're as good as they get. And anybody that thinks that today's military, that these young men and women are, not as hardworking, not as patriotic, not as courageous, they haven't spent any time with the youth of America. I've said it before, I'm the biggest fan of the millennials and the Gen Z that you'll ever meet, because these are a remarkable generation. And I tell people, look, if you think that they are these soft, entitled little snowflakes, then you've never seen them in a firefight in Afghanistan or going to the University of Texas to make a better life for themselves. I mean, these are great kids. And we ought to be incredibly proud of them for serving the country. I think the military we have is great. Having said that, we do have some problems. We have some problems on enlistment. We have some problems on the military industrial base, and we can certainly talk about those, Ryan.